This place isn't exactly on the road most travelled. In fact, if I hadn't been told about it by some Buddhist-seeking travellers in Bhutan, I probably would have never discovered Leh. I've travelled extensively throughout my life and fortunate enough to see many, many places. But Leh is really unlike any of these and a totally unique destination. High in the northern Indian region of Ladakh lies a green oasis called Leh. At 16,000 feet, altitude is a factor, and it takes visitors at least a day or two of rest before being able to think and act straight. The summer months and tour season last only for 3 to 4 months, and for the rest of the year it's cold, with temperatures dropping as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius. There are local restaurants, plenty of local handcrafts from both Tibet and Kashmir to buy. Besides the traffic jams and constant sounds of car horns, daily life is simple and much has remained the same for generations. The town lies in the shadows of Buddhist monasteries, and it's common to hear the chants of the monks and the sound of prayer wheels, sounding over and over again as they have for centuries. Leh is a place to get high. High on fresh air, high on being alive, and that one step closer to God. With a little luck and an open mind, it's a place that'll leave you a little more enlightened than you were before. As I drove around Leh, I saw animals, specifically dogs and donkeys, scouring the dusty streets, desperate to find scraps of any kind. Plastic, cardboard, whatever they could find, because they were literally starving to death. I wondered how on earth these animals, as thin as they were, could possibly survive out here in the winter months, and the answer was unfortunately simple. They didn't. I'd always loved animals and never understood how anyone could not care for them, especially those that were suffering. But here, despite the Buddhist presence, no one seemed to care or even notice these animals. How could this be? I've always been fascinated by the Buddhist religion, and I love photography, so the idea was to take pictures of monasteries and the beautiful scenery around here. And I went and saw a couple of monasteries and things, but what was really obvious to me was how many, what really occurred to me was how many in a place where there's supposed to be so much compassion. In a place where there's supposed to be so much compassion, there was so much suffering. It's really hard to look at it and not do anything about it. So for some crazy reason, I spoke to my travel company, to Mr. Sunny Wangchuk, and said to him, can we do something? Can we maybe set up something where we can do some sort of a sanctuary where the worst of the worst, the most suffering of these donkeys can be in a place of peace, and where we could make sure that they were at least fed and had some shelter. as sad as this place is, and as crazy as it looks, because I'm from South Africa, so this to me is a crazy. I don't see things like this, and most Westerners probably wouldn't see things like this. But the most powerful moments, I think one of the most powerful moments was when myself and Stanley actually, with about 20 volunteers, came up from the bottom of the road, and we rounded up about 60 donkeys that were standing on all this rubbish, eating plastic. That's what they lived on. And we rounded them up, and we literally took these 60 donkeys all the way from this site, all the way up the main road, through town. It was about a 3-hour hike, and the locals didn't know what was going on because donkeys don't really have much value here. And one of the greatest moments probably of my life that I'll never forget was, it was a one day in Leh where the donkeys had their day, and the cars had to stop for these animals, pedestrians had to stop for us, the donkeys ruled on that day. And we went all the way to the top, and Stanley had organized this land that we were going to rent for the sanctuary, and these donkeys went in. And I think it was the first time that they'd ever seen grass, and the first time that they'd ever had grass in their lives. And it really was an incredible moment.
Looking at all this thing, I used to feel pity, but then I never had that kind of a confidence to start a project like this. But fortunately, 5 years back, I had an amazing lady coming from South Africa on a photographic expedition in Ladakh. And she also discovered these donkeys wandering around on the street, the miserable condition. She put this question that, Steny, why there are so many donkeys wandering around on the street? As a child, I clearly remember playing with donkeys. My granny had 2 donkeys, and I used to always run behind the donkeys and go there, deliver the stuff. And on the way back, I used to ride the donkeys. That was my fun. And slowly and gradually, I started to understand that these donkeys are now been getting neglected by the people, by the society, as unfortunately their job has been taken over by the machines, and they have started to go through a miserable life.
He was identified probably to a very important god. Very important god, as you have animals god all over the world. But the god donkey maybe disappear quickly than the other animals, because probably when people domesticate donkey, they begin to have a different relation with donkey. And donkey has his character. The character of donkey, as you know, is very empathic. Donkey, when his relation with other animals, other people, takes the behavior of these people. So if donkey see poor people, working people, he become to be poor and working. So the people see that poor animal, and they no longer feel he was a king.
The donkeys, it used to be part of Ladakh, but right now you won't see many donkeys in the nearby cities. And in the past, people used to keep it as a pack animal so that they can carry the load from one part to another. Right now, with the modernization, the people are not giving much attention to the donkeys, and they're just lying in the streets without any food, without any treatment, without any proper care. And this is a kind of sanctuary, only one sanctuary in Leh, and they are looking after the donkeys, which needs kind of attention and treatment for them. And if there is any donkey which is lying down at any place, at any unknown place, and someone sees the donkey lying down there, they can inform a sanctuary like this so that they can take care of the donkey. We think that all of the Ladakhis, whether which religion they are following, but they show much compassion compared to the other parts of the country. So they treat animal well as compared to the other part. But still, there is a need for the young generation to show some attention and show some care for the animals, so that because we are living in an ecosystem where everyone has their own role, so we have to maintain that balance.
2,000 years ago, when the horse was coming, it was a new civilization. The horse is faster than the donkey, and he take with him a civilization of quickness. Do all the things quicker. Today we have the jeep, we have the vehicles. It's another civilization also of the quickness. So donkey become marginal. How you say? Marginalized. But he was the animal of the poor. The poor people have a donkey in their house.
We have donkeys which are badly bitten by dogs, group of dogs. You know, their backside is totally gone. We have donkeys who are very ill. We have donkeys who have severe colic problem. Their things are blocked. We have donkeys who are hidden by the vehicles and there's no medical aid been given to them. And we have also pregnant donkeys because they are the most biggest prey for the dogs because they wait for this animal to deliver a baby. Because during the delivery itself, there are situations, there are cases where these dogs start eating the baby. We have come up with posters which we have put on in the town and especially donkey-prone areas, and we have clearly written if you find needy donkeys in bad shape, in any because of any reason, kindly call us, then we'll come and rescue it. And we also, whenever we are walking around, whenever you find someone, a donkey which is in a bad shape, we bring them here.
I think one of the biggest challenges is that donkeys aren't really respected and, you know, they kind of, no one really cares about them. So the idea to a local to start a sanctuary that cares for animals that nobody really cares about, you don't get that much excitement or support.
Because precisely there is a reverse about the symbolism. First, the donkey was the king. A moment when comes the horse and the quickness, the donkey was reverse. It was a kind of revolution. As we have in the old time, people was in harmony with nature. They don't have a hierarchical relation, you know. Maybe you have know that a little bit in Ladakh in the old time, people more friendly between each other. But when we come in a society like feudalism or capitalism, we need hierarchy, we need money, we need quickness. So the donkey we have to put down. So it's really a revolution. In the same time that we put down the relation with nature, the kind relation with nature, the spirituality of the people in the old time, we put down the spirituality of the donkey.
I think having an animal, especially at a young age, teaches kindness, sharing, compassion. And, you know, research has been done about this. And when a child interacts with an animal and is kind to an animal, it's going to be kind to other people and other children and generally just a better person to the world outside. So, you know, teaching kindness to human beings, teaching kindness to animals also means, you know, being kind to our own species and, you know, tolerance and compassion. All these things that I think is lacking in the world, it starts with an animal.
They're not cows, they're donkeys. Donkey. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, this is a hungry donkey. Excuse me. Oh! Hungry donkey. Oh, même ça. Tu as bien aidé ici.
Mahatma Gandhi once said, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. And this sanctuary has been an absolute dream come true. And I know it's small and simple, but I think it's really made me realize that, you know, we can each be some sort of change in the world and make it more of a place that we want to see. And, you know, it is my vision for the sanctuary is that it will always be a simple place in Leh where we will be able to look after animals in need and in distress, but I think even more importantly, a place where tourists and visitors and locals will be able to come and are constantly reminded that we are all sentient beings and that even animals, you know, donkeys and dogs and creatures, we all want the same things. We all want the basics, you know, shelter, food, love and compassion. And I'm hoping that a place like this is a reminder to everyone that we all need these things. And at the very root of it all, that's what this place is all about.
First I thought that's quite unusual to have a donkey sanctuary. But when I came here, I thought it was a really nice place because everyone is really, really nice, especially the donkeys. And yeah, it's nice to become them to know in such a way, to interact with them. It was quite nice.
It's a really nice place, and it seems that the donkey are well cared. They have water and everything and shade, and it's good that they are released back to the wild after they are healthy again.
It's amazing. I got here yesterday, which no one was here, and I saw the donkeys and I only sat with them for like half an hour. And then I decided to come today with carrots and cookies and spoil them out.
They are very special creatures, I think, sometimes stubborn, but sometimes very lovable. And they're very unique.
They are not difficult, you know, to manure, you know. Yeah, and they are very obedient, and they are perfectionists. They do things slowly but surely, you know, and very easy animal and does not harm, and they are very friendly as well. So you get connected with this animal very easily.
We are dying of quickness. We are building more and more quick elements. Even you have a jeep, and I don't blame you. You need a jeep. Even I take plane to go to Leh, so I was more to blame, you know, because I say, oh, better I stay 2 or 3 days more in Leh, and I take the plane. You know, we all think like that, but maybe you are not right. You have to learn from the donkey. So his slow movement, it's a kind of wiseness.
It's one animal that asks for probably the least out of any animal in the world and is probably used and abused the most.
I love donkey. I also love donkey.
I love donkeys. J'aime beaucoup les ânes.
I love donkeys. Ratima Mosle.
I love the donkey sanctuary. Ik hou van de ezelboerderij.
I love donkeys. אני אוהב חמורים.
Please do not feed animals. Give food and water to all the animals. I love donkeys!
The greatness of the nation is determined by looking at the condition of its animal, which is so true.
There's a lot of animal suffering in the world, and you know, if I think about all of it, I think I don't want to be part of the world. But I think that if everybody who feels overwhelmed with all the suffering does something, whether it's adopting a dog or sponsoring a donkey or you know, even helping to buy a meal for a hungry child in Africa, whatever it is, if we all did something positive for something that is less fortunate than ourselves, I think the world would be a much better place.
Bye.